Hey guys, welcome to this edition of Gil Reacts. And had an interesting thought when I was coming from work about the different kinds of basketball players. And usually, when basketball players excel, it's usually attributed to their athleticism, their skill, or just natural talent in most casual conversations. But one thing I've noticed as well is that certain types of players, like athletic players, a good example would be Ja Morant, are capable of excelling at the game because of their extreme athleticism. So much so that they can overpower the opposition, the teammates, not their teammates, but the opposition. They can lead a team based on their athleticism alone, their ability to overpower the opposition, either because of youth or a certain focus on a skill. But mostly for young players, this comes in the form of extreme athleticism. This reminds me of a young LeBron who excelled at the game because of his combination of strength, size, and speed. Again, when we look at Ja Morant, it kind of reminds me of that young player who's able to overpower the opposition because of his extreme athleticism rather than exceptional skill. So just looking at these dunks over here from Ja Morant as compiled by the NBA, just reminds me of how youth and youth being young can be a very strong advantage if you're trying to excel at the game of basketball. It helps you with, it definitely helps being young and strong and fast, and allows you to overpower the enemies, the opposition rather. Sorry if I'm being all rambly. However, succeeding as a sport is not about overpowering the opposition. So the point I want to make today is that you can't solely rely on overpowering the opposition. Sometimes you have to outsmart the opposition. You see, with young players like Ja Morant's, the young D-Rose, the athleticism can only take them so far. How long would Ja Morant keep doing these flashy dunks until his knees give out or some major injury stops him from doing the acrobatic moves or age itself catches up with him? So I really take an interest in players who find a way to excel at the game without relying on domination, let's just say. Don't rely on dominating the enemy. A good example would be Steve Nash. I always reference this player because, man, this guy, well, he embodies the perfect team player, or not only perfect team player, but finding your niche within the game. That's what he embodies for me. He found his way around the game, and now you can learn from him and apply some of the skills that he applied. Yes, he was a great scorer. He was not the most athletic player. One thing Steve Nash did so well is he found a niche within the game, something he could do better than everyone, and that's passing, leading an offense, and being unselfish, basically, to the point that the only way you would defend the Phoenix Suns effectively would be to turn Steve Nash into a scorer, to make him more selfish. Otherwise, he was going to give the ball to his other teammates. That's how he dominated teams, because now he presented a very let's just say a very special or particular assignment, a particular problem or challenge to his opposition, because most times when teams are assigning defensive when they're giving you defensive assignments, they usually target the star player, and they try to limit his abilities and his strengths. And usually most star players are good on the ball. They're not good off the ball. They're the kinds of players that are good with the ball and they dominate with the ball in their hands. What Steve Nash did was, yes, he had the majority of the possession, but he was not the one finishing the possessions. He would dribble through the traffic and then find the open man like so. So this allowed him to outsmart his enemies because they didn't need to if they went too aggressive on him, he would just give it to his teammates. So the point where the only way to stop Steve Nash was to allow him to be the selfish player, the isolation player, where he wants to take the shots himself and go to the rim himself and become the primary scorer. That's how you stop Steve Nash. So it's quite interesting on how players can dominate in the NBA, where not only in the NBA, in the league, where so much emphasis is put on domination. Like, oh, you want to be like Jordan, destroy all your enemies. But that opportunity is not available to everyone to be the most dominant player. Sometimes you have to find something you're good at so that you can then carry over to the game. So with Steve Nash, one of the things he leveraged was his shooting form and his passing ability as well. So he didn't need to be the fastest player. His game did not require him to be the fastest player on the court. Like, let's just look at that. Oh my God, nice floater. So by finding his niche within the game, it allowed him to create a serious impact on the teams that they played for. Because now he was not using the regular skills that players need, speed, athleticism, but more agility and finesse, attention to detail, being the first one to the spot. So I guess my point is, it's okay to be athletic, and also I prefer you have both skills. You are athletic and also you are smart within your skill level. You use your IQ, you use your emotional intelligence to create an impact on the team. Because basketball is not just about raw speed, raw vertical jump. It's the synergy between these skills, these particular skills. So yeah, man, I had this thought when I was coming back home where I noticed that certain players can succeed at the game without needing to be the most dominant. They usually carve out skills that allow them to play at the level or exceed the levels of more athletic players because of the utility that those skills provides. So as you can see here, Steve Nash is training kids, and what you see from these videos is that he's able to translate every mechanic and use every possible ounce of his mechanics to create the ultimate advantage. So this is what it takes to become an effective player, especially if you are undersized, because the opportunities of being athletic, while they're open to everyone, they are very hard to achieve at a certain size. You can be 5'9", but it's very hard to dunk at 5'9". Yes, people have done it, Nate Robinson, but those are the top 1% of players. It's very hard to dunk at 5'9". It's very hard to push people when you're 6'2" and you're being guarded by 6'7" players. So you have to carve out a niche within the game. It's not always about overpowering the defense. Sometimes it's about outsmarting the defense. Sometimes it's about outsmarting yourself, allowing yourself to be humble and understand the frame of the game and whose game you're playing. Because sometimes conforming to a style of play that doesn't fit your skills can be bad for your overall development. Man, that's just a very high follow through. Good Steve Nash. So yeah, this was just a quick one. I just really wanted to share what I was reflecting on when I was coming back from town. So yeah, man, you want to be both athletic and also smart. IQ and also the physical nature of the game has to be applied as well. So, and this also leads into, let me go into a video that I did a few days ago. That was focusing on base shooting. A great basketball player understands judgment. So while I was doing my shooting form exercises, I realized I had an epiphany where I realized that, for you to get better at shooting, you have to practice. And the practice is not so much about repetitions and being good at the skill through the practice, but rather to develop a judgment of what's happening within yourself. Understand what skill am I going to use at this moment? What pressure am I going to apply at this moment? So the biggest challenge for me was shooting the three-pointer. How do I know that the three-pointer is going in the right direction? So when you're practicing, you learn the points of judgments, the points of, I'd say, there are moments or tempos within the game that you can create an impact on. So, like for example, I'm in this low position. What are the options there? There's the option of raising the ball and pushing the ball to the basket. What I'm in control of in that situation is the speed of raising the ball, the speed of pressing with my feet. And if I don't know how those things work, it's very hard to apply the skills in the game where I'm being forced by a defender to change direction very quickly, and I'm being forced to execute under duress. So understanding your skills and your athletic abilities is very good because it helps you build that judgment. And that's what we get from practice. We understand our own limitations and our own weak points and things we have to eliminate. So for example, if you look at my three-point shots, I'm trying as much as possible to shoot the ball straight. And in that situation, I'm trying to execute as fast as possible within the time before I exhaust my athletic abilities. So everything has to happen in one quick motion before I exhaust my athletic abilities. So having that awareness is a great addition to what you can do on the court when you're playing in a live game situation. Also, when you're practicing, to understand, oh right, this practice serves this kind of purpose because I'm trying to build my judgment. I'm trying to build my ability to discern a situation, because sometimes that's more important than just being a good player. The ability to discern a situation is what separates the average player from the great player. So let's go back to the Ja Morant situation. So young Ja Morant can dunk everything, yeah. But does he have to dunk every possession? Does he have to take every open dunk? Is it much better for him to go for lay-ins? Is it much better for him to take mid-range jumpers? Is it much better for him to take three-pointers? So practice determines the kind of judgments you're going to make within the game. If Ja Morant doesn't go to practice, he's just going to go for the most he's just going to go for the highlight play to show off and try to prove a point, and as we call it back at the office, covering mileage. You're just trying to earn mileage on the court. So instead of just trying to earn mileage, you can really build that judgment and understand the tactical advantages that the skills that you possess can provide. Because I feel that's more important than just being talented or athletic or just good. Yes, overall, being a good basketball player gives you a lot of opportunities, but if you're a discerning player, you have the chance to dominate within a niche. Sometimes you don't need to score as much as 50 points to create an impact, as we saw with Steve Nash. He averaged like less than 20 points as an MVP. However, he found his niche where he impacted an offense by his special character of being unselfish and also understanding his attention to detail. So yeah, man, so that was it from me. A small reflection. Oops, sorry, I don't. Probably cut that one out, but hey, thank you guys for sticking around. Wishing you a good day.